Alright, just one more game, okay? I just need to collect a few more coins. Alright. I think that should be enough. At least for now. Although I do see something over here I might want to collect very quickly. I promise. Oh, actually, never mind. I don't see it anymore. Oh, there it is. Okay. Fine, we can go to bed now. I'm turning it off. I don't even have the remote in my hand anymore. But before we go to sleep, I know that there's something you want. It's okay, you can be honest with me. I know how much you enjoy your bedtime stories, so I have this one for you. It's called Click, Clack, Moo. How's that type? Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long he hears click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. At first he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. Then he couldn't believe his eyes. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. It was bad enough the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets? No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. No milk today, cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard the cows busy at work. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. The next day, he got another. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door. Closed. No milk, no eggs. No eggs, cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard them. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. Cows that type, hens on strike. Who ever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Farmer Brown got out his own typewriter. Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum to the cows. The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered around the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. Duck knocked on the door early the next morning. He handed Farmer Brown a note. Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door, and we will send Duck over with the typewriter. Sincerely, the cows. Farmer Brown decided this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn door and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. The next morning, he got a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. Click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. The end. You know, I think the cows looked pretty cute. What do you think? There's just something about farm animals that are so precious. I know that's not enough to help you sleep. So, how about another story? Maybe another story about animals too. Or at least one that involves them. This one is called Little Rabbit's Loose Tooth. Little Rabbit had a loose tooth. It was her first loose tooth and it wiggled a lot. At supper time, Little Rabbit said, "You know, I cannot eat carrots and beans. I have a loose tooth." But Father Rabbit said, "Carrots and beans are very good for little rabbits." "They're too hard," said Little Rabbit, "for little rabbits with a loose tooth." "Oh," said Mother Rabbit, "and what is soft enough for Little Rabbit with a loose tooth?" Little Rabbit thought for a while. There were strawberries in the refrigerator. "Strawberries," she said, "soft strawberries." "You can have strawberries for dessert," said Mother Rabbit, "and you can chew the carrots and beans with your other teeth." "Are you sure?" said Little Rabbit. "I'm sure," said Mother Rabbit. "Are you sure, Daddy?" said Little Rabbit. "I'm sure," said Father Rabbit. "I've done it myself." That was on Monday. On Tuesday, Little Rabbit chewed oranges with her loose tooth and cucumbers with her other teeth. On Wednesday, she chewed watermelon with her loose tooth and lettuce with her other teeth. On Thursday, she chewed vanilla pudding with her loose tooth and cabbage with her other teeth. On Friday, she chewed spinach with her other teeth and chocolate ice cream with her loose tooth. And the loose tooth came right out in the chocolate ice cream. "I have a loose tooth in my chocolate ice cream," said Little Rabbit. "That's wonderful," said Mother Rabbit. "It's about time," said Father Rabbit. "What should I do with it?" asked Little Rabbit. "You should take it out of your chocolate ice cream," answered Mother Rabbit. Little Rabbit took the tooth out of the chocolate ice cream. "I have a window in my mouth," she said. "I can stick my tongue through it." "That's amazing," said Mother Rabbit. Little Rabbit put some chocolate ice cream in the window in her mouth. "Look," she said, "I have a chocolate tooth in my mouth." "How tasty," said Father Rabbit. Little Rabbit finished her dish of ice cream. Then she licked the chocolate ice cream off the tooth and took it to the sink and put the plug in the sink. She gave it a bath in cold water. Then she dried it with the dish towel and took it back to the table. "What should I do with my tooth?" she asked. "Whatever you want," said Mother Rabbit. "I could throw it away," said Little Rabbit. "Or you could put it under your pillow for the Tooth Fairy," said Mother Rabbit. "Why should I do that?" asked Little Rabbit. "When you are asleep, the Tooth Fairy will take your tooth and leave you a present," said Mother Rabbit. "Does the Tooth Fairy get to keep my tooth?" "Yes, of course," said Mother Rabbit. Little Rabbit put her tongue in the window in her mouth. Then she took her tongue out of the window. "What if I don't want the Tooth Fairy to keep my tooth?" she said. "Then there's no point in putting your tooth under your pillow," said Mother Rabbit. "I don't believe in the Tooth Fairy anyway," said Little Rabbit. "No?" said Mother Rabbit. "No," said Little Rabbit. "There are lots of things you can do with a tooth besides give it to a Tooth Fairy." Little Rabbit took her tooth and went into her room and thought about the things she could do. She could make a hole in it and put a string through it and wear it for a necklace. But then she thought the tooth might break when she tried to make the hole. She could paste it on a piece of paper and draw stars around it and hang it on her bedroom wall. But then she thought that might look silly. She could put it in her pocket and take it to the candy store and try to buy some candy with it. But then she thought maybe the rabbit who owned the candy store would say that a tooth is not a penny. The little rabbit thought she could throw the tooth away, but she did not really want to do that either. Little Rabbit went into the living room, where Mother Rabbit was playing the flute. "Mommy," she said, "what if I believe in the Tooth Fairy?" Mother Rabbit put down her flute. "Then you better put your tooth under your pillow before you lose it. You could put it in an envelope if you want. Little Rabbit found an envelope and put the tooth in it. Then she went into her room and put the envelope underneath her pillow. Little Rabbit came back to the living room. What kind of presents do tooth fairies leave? She asked. Well, said Mother Rabbit, what do you think? I think they leave whatever they want, said Little Rabbit. Money? Not a lot of money, said Mother Rabbit. Little Rabbit thought for a minute. A penny? Well, maybe a dime. A dime is smaller than a penny, Little Rabbit said. It's smaller, but it's worth more, said Mother Rabbit. A dime is worth 10 pennies. I know that, Little Rabbit said. I just wanted to make sure. Daddy, said Little Rabbit, I believe in the Tooth Fairy. Father Rabbit put down his newspaper so Little Rabbit could climb up into his lap. And what do you think the Tooth Fairy wants with your tooth? She wants to give me money, said Little Rabbit. Oh, I see, said Father Rabbit. And what will she do with your tooth after she gives you money? I think she will save my tooth and give it to a baby rabbit that was just born, and that's how little baby rabbits get teeth. Do you think that, Daddy? Said Father Rabbit. Or, said Little Rabbit, I think she will put my tooth up in the sky because it is such a shiny tooth, and that's how stars get made. Do you think that, Daddy? Well, said Father Rabbit. Really, said Little Rabbit, I think she says a magic spell and she turns the tooth into a penny. I mean a dime. Do you think that, Daddy? I think, said Father Rabbit, that it is your bedtime. Okay, but would you please remind Mommy about me believing in the Tooth Fairy in case she forgets? I could, said Father Rabbit. I have a window in my mouth. Window or no window, said Father Rabbit. It is time for bed. It gave her a good night kiss. Good night, Little Rabbit. Good night, Daddy. Little Rabbit got into her pajamas and brushed her teeth, and turned off the light, and got into bed. Mother Rabbit came to kiss her good night. Mommy, said Little Rabbit. Yes, said Mother Rabbit. Just in case there isn't a Tooth Fairy, said Little Rabbit. Yes, said Mother Rabbit. After I'm asleep, could you sneak and look under my pillow and look in the envelope? And if there isn't a present, could you leave one? Yes, said Mother Rabbit. You don't have to tell me, said Little Rabbit. You could just sneak. All right, says Mother Rabbit. Now, good night, Little Rabbit. Good night, Mommy, said Little Rabbit, and she went to sleep. The stars came out, and the moon rose up in the east, and the moon set in the west, and the stars went in. The sun came up. It was morning. Little Rabbit woke up. She looked under her pillow. She took out the envelope, and she opened it. And inside, the envelope was a dime. What a cute story. Did you like it? The rabbit was very cute, wasn't she? You're getting to be so tired. You don't have to hide your yawns from me. I won't make fun of you, silly. Come here. I love you, you know that? And I am your girlfriend, you know? And I know I can get pretty consumed in my games, and I'm sorry about that. So, I want to have this time where I focus on you and your needs. So, I'll read you one more story. How about that? Alright. Let me find one last story for you. This one is called The Berenstain Bears Get in a Fight. Most mornings in Bear Country, the sun rose to greet the day, and the mockingbird sang its copycat songs outside an upstairs window of the bear's treehouse. And inside the treehouse, Brother Bear and Sister Bear would wake up. Brother and sister usually got along very well. They took turns nicely with the bathroom. They said please and thank you at breakfast. They often sat together on the school bus. And after school, they worked together happily on their very special project, their own backyard treehouse. But one gray morning, Brother and sister didn't get along well at all. Maybe it was the weather, or maybe it was because the mockingbird slept late. But whatever it was, Brother and Sister Bear got into a big fight. Sister Bear opened her eyes and stretched. Then she sat up and let her legs dangle over the edge of her bed, right in Brother Bear's face. She didn't do it to be rude. It was just one of those things that happens with bunk beds. But that morning, Brother was not in a very good mood. "Sister," he shouted, "get your dopey feet out of my face." "My feet aren't dopey and they're not in your face," she shouted back. "Get your dopey face out of my face," snarled Brother. "You shut up," snapped Sister, and before Brother could answer, she skipped into the bathroom ahead of him. She took a very long time brushing her teeth, washing up, and brushing her fur. "You'd better come out of the bathroom," shouted Brother, banging on the door. "Brother Bear," said Papa, coming out of his bedroom, "you know better than to shout at your sister." "But she's taking too long in the bathroom," complained Brother, "and she's doing it on purpose." When Brother raised his fist to bang on the door again, it opened and out came Sister, all spruced up. "Good morning, Papa," she said, as nice as you please. "Grrr," said her brother. Brother and Sister didn't say please and thank you that morning at breakfast because they weren't speaking to each other, and they didn't sit together on the school bus. Sister sat in the front and Brother sat in the back. That afternoon, they made a line down the middle of their backyard treehouse to show which half was whose. It wasn't much fun sitting up there in their treehouse not speaking, especially when it began to rain hard. Later, they kept on being mean by taking back the things they usually shared. Sister took back her modeling clay, which Brother had made into dinosaurs, and rolled it into one big lump. Brother took back his trucks and planes and put them on the top shelf, where Sister couldn't reach them. They got so angry that they forgot they weren't speaking, and began shouting at each other even louder than before. Then Papa lost his temper and began shouting at them to stop shouting. The neighbors didn't know which was worse, the big storm or the racket coming from the bear's house. Mama had had quite enough. She put 2 fingers to her mouth and whistled very, very loudly. Papa and the cubs were so surprised that they stopped shouting. "I didn't know you could whistle like that, Mama," said Sister. "Well, I can, and I can also tell you," said Mama sternly, "that I've had quite enough of this foolish fighting. Why, I doubt you to even remember what you're fighting about." The cubs tried to remember, but they couldn't. Mama took the cubs into her lap. "Everybody gets into an argument once in a while," she said, "even folks who love each other very much." "You and I don't have arguments," said Papa. "Oh, yes, we do," said Mama. "No, we don't," argued Papa. "We're having one right now," said Mama, "about whether or not we have arguments." While Papa thought that one over, Mama went on to say that occasional arguments are part of living together. We get angry, even call each other names and say things we really don't mean, and after a while, it's over. "Like the storm?" asked Sister. The rain had almost stopped, and the sun was beginning to shine through the clouds. "Yes," said Mama, "like the storm." "Look," said Papa. The sun shining on the last of the rain had made a rainbow. "A rainbow is something very beautiful that happens after a storm," said Mama, looking at the cubs. "You mean like making up after a big fight?" "Sort of," said Mama. So Brother and Sister Bear hugged and made up, and got along just beautifully. Until the next time, anyway. Another very sweet book for my very, very sweet partner. I think we should probably get some rest, though. It is rather late, don't you think? So let's get in bed and get comfortable. I love you very much, and sleep well, okay, darling? Good night.